Welcome back in. Let's talk waiver wire pitchers. And first up in shallower league, Shane Baz made his season debut on Friday at Texas. 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, mostly a 3-pitch mix. Velocity looked fine here with Shane Baz. Reese Olson pitched well again. He was at the Reds, 5 2/3, 2 runs allowed, 1 of those earned, 8 strikeouts, 16 whiffs on 88 pitches. Tyler Anderson.
You can't keep getting away with it.
I mean, he can.
You can't keep getting away with it. He won't.
He can. If he keeps striking out 10 batters and walking none, he can. He's just not going to do that.
If this is the mark of a skill change, him getting 10 strikeouts and 22 whiffs, then okay. But yeah, one start is not going to convince me that's the start of a skill change. But that was always the caveat, right? Like I wouldn't believe in Tyler Anderson even if he was doing this until into September, unless there's a skill change along the way that changes the profile.
He had 10 walks to 9 strikeouts in his previous 3 starts.
Yeah, I think he had him as a sleeper pitcher last week when he had good matchups and he let us down in a 2-start week. And then he comes out here and just has an amazing start at the Cubs.
Like if he'd been getting 10 strikeouts all along, his FIP would look amazing instead of like 5.
He does get the Mariners.
That's exactly what I was.
So I think he could be useful again. But this was, I don't know if it's the single most unlikely 10 strikeout, 0 walk performance of the season, because I think DJ Hertz did it twice. But it's pretty unlikely.
Maybe DJ Hertz can just do that sometimes. Maybe it's not so unlikely. I do want to comment on Shane Baz here. Did you finish going through the names, or did we jump in on Tyler?
No, I was going to bring up Spencer Schwellenbach, but I'll save that. How do you guys rank the 3? Baz, Olson, and Tyler Anderson.
Baz, Olson, huge gap, Anderson.
Yeah, Baz, Olson, Schwellenbach, Drew Thorpe, Andrew Heaney, Yadiel Rodriguez. I think those are the only ones I would take above Tyler Anderson among the rest of the long list.
So this wasn't the most dominant outing for Baz. Obviously, he escaped with a quality start, but it's not like he looked amazing. I will point out his curveball didn't seemed off. Everything else seemed fine. The curveball was up 1.7 miles per hour. Its vertical movement was down 3 inches. Its horizontal off by 2. And he wasn't throwing it much in the minors until his final rehab start. That was one reason I thought the Rays were delaying him, is because he didn't have the curveball quite up to speed yet. It got 0 whiffs in this game. So I still don't think it's up to speed. But when it gets up to speed for Baz, like hopefully he doesn't shy away from using it because it's not totally up to speed. Because if he gets it there, the way everything else looks, I think we'll see him take off.
And there is top 20 potential the rest of the way with Shane Baz. So I would prioritize him over pretty much any pitcher that's not 100% rostered.
This one's interesting because Baz 74% rostered. If you get him, do you start him this week? He faces the Yankees, who are technically first in WOBA, but their lineup has been scuffling lately. So
I would, the kind of shallow leagues we're talking about, I think you could have somebody more trustworthy there.
Okay. A couple other pitchers that pitched well this weekend. Spencer Schwellenbach. I'm just going to read off the names and you guys can elaborate. But Drew Thorpe pitched well at the Marlins. Albert Suarez, quality start at the Oakland A's. Andrew Heaney pitched well once again. Sean Manaea, strong start at the Pirates. And Simeon Woods Richardson. So there are 6 names here. Woods Richardson, Manaea, Heaney, Albert Suarez, Drew Thorpe, Spencer Schwellenbach. Were there any names there that you were prioritizing the waiver wire?
Schwellenbach for sure. He's at the top of that list for me. I really like a lot of what we've seen from him. The xERA, the FIP is all much better than the overall numbers. The splitter in particular looks like a really, really good pitch. So
he doubled its usage in the start, the splitter, which, he's been varying his pitch usage a lot from start to start, which is kind of what makes him interesting. But it was nice to see him break out that best pitch more. While throwing 74% of his pitches for strikes, which has also been a common theme for him.
I think there's a clear gap between him and the rest of this group. Like I mentioned, I would take him over Tyler Anderson fairly easily if I have Tyler Anderson in my roster. I wouldn't hesitate to drop him for Spencer Schwellenbach. And I also just want to highlight something we talked about when Andrew Heaney made his last start that continued in this one, which was the higher slider velocity, up about 1.7 mile an hour. The movement profile was a little bit different, looked more like it did in that 2022. Was that the year he was with the Dodgers? 2021, I think.
22. No, I think you're right.
Whatever
he's talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever year he was good with the Dodgers, a big part of that, and we hammered this the whole year that he was good, was he was throwing the slider harder. He had remade the shape, and then he went back the last couple of years. In the past 2 starts, slider has looked more like it did with the Dodgers, and he's been really good. I think
it's 3 out of 4. It's 3 out of 4 where Heaney's had a huge strikeout rate and higher velocity on the slider. So, maybe you do that 3 times in 4, and all the underlying, there's like an underlying change beneath the numbers backing it up. Then I think it's time to take Andrew Heaney seriously.
If I didn't need the start this week, I think I'd be fine dropping Tyler Anderson for Andrew Heaney as well.
Yeah, because
chasing the upside there.
The problem with Heaney is he's at the Astros this week, so you don't want to play him there. But I agree. I remain intrigued. Last 4 starts for Heaney, a 2.70 ERA, a 103 WHIP, 11.6 K per 9.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of amazing. Getting back to Schwellenbach, in college he was a reliever and a shortstop, and he comes in here. This is his 2nd professional season, and he's got like 6 pitches and elite control. How does a college shortstop and part-time reliever become that good at pitching that fast?
Tin Stap. It works both. I mean, this is one of the most enduring things about pitching is there's no such thing as a pitching prospect is what I'm referring to. And most people take that to mean that you can't trust pitching prospects to live up their potential, but it works both ways, because you get guys get called up and just immediately look much better than they ever did in the minors. It doesn't happen that often, but it happens enough that you can't just what was the Yelber Diaz, right? That was the Diamondbacks guy we talked about earlier, where
yes. Yep.
He's viewed as a future reliever by most scouts, I think. The minor league numbers are pretty good, but not overwhelming. But it's 105 strikeouts in 75 innings. That's interesting enough for me to say, yeah, let's see if he catches lightning in a bottle, because it happens sometimes. Spencer Strider, was he ever a top 100 prospect in baseball?
No,
I don't think so.
This happens occasionally enough where you do have to take flashes seriously. Garrett Crochet and Luis Heel. That you have to take these flashes seriously, because unlike with hitters where the track records are very large and the physical tools don't change quite as much, pitchers can change pretty substantially in relatively short amounts of time.
One last observation on these pitchers here, Drew Thorpe. So, yeah, his starts, he's had 4 good starts and 5 chances. The whiffs have been almost entirely on the changeup. That seems like the only pitch he has. Yeah. But 4 good starts and 5, right? Well, the 4 good starts have come against Miami, Colorado, Detroit, and Seattle. The bad one was against Arizona, the one legit offense he faced. So just something to keep in mind on Drew Thorpe.
And he gets the Twins this week, and their lineup has been pretty hot recently. So as much as I like that, I think he's doing some things. I think he's a name to watch. I would not want to start Drew Thorpe this week if I could avoid it. The one name on this list that we didn't really talk about that has a great matchup this week is Sean Manaea. So if you are looking for a starter this week, he gets the Rockies in New York, and obviously it's a great matchup. And he's pitching well. Last 5 starts for Manaea, 157 ERA, a 101 WHIP.
Did we get to the deeper league part?
Nope. I was about to read those names off right now. So 5 names: Yariel Rodriguez, Kyle Freeland, Luis Ortiz, Jonathan Cannon, and Hayden Wesneski. Anything to add on this group?
I think Yadier Rodriguez is pretty interesting. That's 2 starts in a row now where I believe he's gone over 6 innings. He's gotten a decent amount of strikeouts, the walks, notably in both. I think it's 2 walks in each, or 3 walks total across the 2 starts, something like that. Yeah, just 2 walks in each of the past 2 outings, allowing 1 earned run in 12 2/3 innings of work. Just reading what I wrote earlier. He's interesting. He's got a handful of pitches that all look decent to pretty good. So I think Yadier Rodriguez probably still just a 15-teamer, but in a deeper 12-team categories league where there's just nothing on the wire, I think Yadier Rodriguez is an interesting ad.